It's now, now 6 o'clock. We'll start, like to open the meeting, regular meeting. Today's meeting is the first time we've been here in a long time, so we'll try to have it over, have a lot of fun tonight. At this time, I'd like to make a suggestion that if people don't mind, the panel up here will remove our masks because we have glass partitions and we can talk a lot easier without the masks. Is it all right with everybody? Okay. Can we have a, Secretary, can we have the call to order, or have a roll call, please?
Yes. Chair Emarelli,
Present.
Vice Chair Ackerman,
Present.
Commissioner Bangle,
Here.
Commissioner Croy,
Here.
Commissioner Gitterice. Here. All people are present.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and if Commissioner Croy would lead us tonight.
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any presentations tonight?
Yes, we do have one presentation tonight.
Okay.
And I'm going to introduce our Community Services Coordinator, Chelsea Bollinger, to start the presentation.
Okay, can you hear me now? Perfect. Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. I'm Chelsea Bollinger, the Community Services Coordinator at the City of Menifee. I'm here and honored to present our Community Champion Award to Dawn Smith. So you could either sit here or come up here, whatever you feel more comfortable. Okay, perfect. I do want to mention that this Community Champion Award was for 2020. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do it in person, so we wanted to wait until we could see your smiling face. So we're really happy to have you here. I want to read this so I don't miss anything important because you've done such an amazing job here at the City of Menifee. So, Dawn Smith, Community Champion Award for 2020. A Menifee resident since 1976, Dawn Smith is a shining example of the spirit of Menifee. She has been a Menifee Rotarian since 1997, having served as president and currently serving as the treasurer. She is also an Educator Foundation member of Pomona Valley High School and the present chair of Menifee. Sorry. Do you mind if I remove my mask, or is it okay? Sorry, it was really hard to talk about that. Okay. And the present chair of Menifee Valley Chamber of Commerce. Ahead of the city's incorporation in 2008, she served on the cityhood committee and is the founder of the Arts Council of Menifee. Dawn has continued to heavily involve with Menifee Interfaith and Community Services Council, spearheading events for disadvantaged youth within the community, such as Santa's Workshop. Some highlights of her service include supporting efforts in the Menifee Homeless Task Force by providing over 200 gift certificates to the homeless individuals awaiting services or temporarily housing, and thousands of backpacks to disadvantaged students each year. During the pandemic, the community cupboard became an even bigger staple and necessity in our community, and Dawn was one of those that was behind the scenes ensuring that those individuals had received resources that they need. Thank you, Dawn, for your continued support as the community champion. So we'd like to provide you with a plaque, and if you want to, you can say a couple of words. It's completely up to you.
Can I just say thank you?
Of course. Okay, would you like to come receive your plaque? So, it's a really awesome plaque. And it is beautiful. Proud of you too.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. This is my
Don, could I ask you what you do in your spare time?
Sleep with my and watch TV.
At this, at this time, I'd like to have you get a reading, or if there's any corrections to the minutes of the April 1st meeting for the regular Parks, Trails, and Commission. Any amendments or anything to the, or do we have to read, do we want to read the minutes or not? We don't read them, do we? No,
I'll move to approve.
okay. Minutes have been moved and approved. Any second?
I'll second.
Okay. Minutes have been moved and approved, and now we'll go on to public comments. Anything out of the general public?
Chair Amarelli, there's item number 6, the agenda approval. Item number 6, agenda approval.
Agenda approval, oh, we did, right, no, we didn't vote on it. Oh, yeah, vote on the approval of approving the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
And then the next item is agenda approval, and there are no modifications to
No
the agenda.
modifications. Okay, they're okay. Okay, now we'll go to item number 6. Item number 7, public comments.
Yes, sir.
No, we do not have any public comments.
No public comments? Okay. Then we go to item number 8, discussion items. 8.1, the fiscal year 21-22 budget and CIP update.
Thank you, Chair Amarelli. IT, if I can get that PowerPoint up, please. Okay, as we usually do every year, we're currently working on our fiscal year 21-22 budget, which starts in July 1st. So we definitely want to bring that to our Parks, Recreations, Trails Commission first to overview what we're doing for community services or plan to do for community services before we take it forth to the City Council. The City Council should have a budget workshop later this month. When we have that date and time secure, we'll share that with you, and you're all definitely welcome to attend that meeting as well. But we want to provide this overview to the Commission first, get feedback from you, any recommendations, and make sure we incorporate that into our presentation of the budget to the City Council. So just a high overview of what's in the staff report. For general fund budget for the Community Services Department, we're not looking at a very large increase. Very fortunate that the City of Menifee has done well, even with the economic downturn and all of that. The City of Menifee at the beginning of this fiscal year, we had a conservative budget. We came in with reducing expenditures about $5 million. We froze a lot of vacant positions, but then we saw that the economy kind of came back. Our local stores did quite well. We didn't have one restaurant closed during the pandemic, so we did. The city itself did really well. The businesses did very well. So at the mid-year budget for this current fiscal year, 2021, we were able to unfreeze some of those positions, add more police officers, inspectors, and needed positions within the city staffing. So with that, we're looking at a very conservative just a 1% operating increase for community services. So what we're planning is a budget that allows us to do a lot of the things that we normally do as far as events and programming, especially as things start to open up. So one of the increased considerations that we always have to think about is part-time salaries. Every single year, and including next year, minimum wage will go up. So we have a good number of part-time staff that work for community services, both in maintenance and in recreation. We have about 40. So all those folks, we have to keep up with the minimum wage. So we always raise their salary automatically $1 every year for the last few years. So a majority of that increase is due to that, but a lot of it is trying to maintain a lot of the services we were providing pre-pandemic and start bringing those back. So there is some uncertainty there. We're hopeful that we can do a lot of the things that we were doing before. So a lot of the events, programming, you'll see a little bit later, spoiler alert, Mariana is going to present some of the things and ideas we have, even as soon as June, to have some events coming forward. So we did have a slight decrease in events and professional services, but we've also kind of balanced that out with an increase in supplies, special department expenses, and some capital outlays. Really, capital outlays is new furniture for Lazy Creek once it's fully renovated. So we're really trying to come in with a nice balanced budget for the next fiscal year. And from there, I'm going to let the professionals, Mariana and Bryce, go into all the details. So I'm going to kick it over to Mariana for Recreation and Administration Division.
All right, so we get to talk about the fun stuff. So recreation, our recreation division, we have 4 main divisions for our 4 coordinators who run the majority of our programming. So we've kind of divided the presentation in that order. So the first one that we'd like to share with you is information and updates on our senior programs that also includes Healthy Menifee. So our senior programs, at the time we created this PowerPoint, we were just at over 99,000 meals that have been served since March 2020. I can say with confidence we're probably now over 100,000 after this week's meal service. So those are over 100,000 meals helping those that are most in need, the most vulnerable populations. We staff spent a lot of time and effort and hard work ensuring that we could feed Menifee, and everybody who wanted a meal could find one with us. So as far as senior programs are concerned, we are looking to expand senior programs. We have started some indoor and outdoor programming all within the state and county guidelines as of the 26th of April. So now we're in May, we're in Older Americans Month. So we are looking to kind of ramp up some of those programs. Again, trying to offer a variety of programs. You'll kind of hear this throughout the presentation, both in person, outdoors, indoors, and virtual still, just kind of helping offer programs for all comfort levels. So again, we're looking forward to that. I think Heart and Soul is probably one of our biggest classes. Line dancing started back at the Senior Center. They're happy to be there. We've got a number of fitness classes, walking clubs that we're trying to get our seniors back into our facility and active again. So we're really thrilled about being able to offer that. And then also with Healthy Menifee, which is also the same staff that run the Senior Center, also offer healthy programming for all ages. We're looking to offer some pop-ups in the park coming into the summer programming so that people of all ages who are looking for healthy, fun activities can find it anywhere within the city of Menifee. So those are exciting things for us, especially as we start to reopen in our programming and our facilities. Oops. The next division we'll talk about is our youth programs and teen programs and sports. So that is typically, our youth programs are typically held at Lazy Creek, but as you all know, that is currently under construction. But we have dedicated a room at the Casey Center to offer some youth programs for our tiny tots, after school programs for our school age children, and then also gearing up for the summertime. We're excited to be able to offer summer camps. So right now the summer camp provisions are a little limited, but we do have several locations on the Casey campus that we're going to be offering summer camps, and then also looking to offer camps off-site at some of our parks, and then also looking for partnerships with local school districts and other facilities available in the city. We're also, one of the big things that we're looking forward to is kind of streamlining some of our processes and some of our programming. We are going to be merging our Little Learners program along with our Tiny Tots program just to kind of create consistency. So no matter what facility you're at, you can expect the same quality program for preschool age children. So that's exciting in the fall. And then also our sports programming is also beginning to ramp up now that some of the guidelines are starting to lift a little bit. We're also kind of looking at alternative sports. One of the cute little names that have been coined is Nacho Average Sports. So we're talking about things like pickleball, bringing back kickball, ping pong, different things that you just don't typically see, not aside from your average basketball, football, and baseball. So we're also kind of venturing into the world of esports, which is online gaming. So we're looking forward to get that contract approved hopefully before the end of this fiscal year, and then really ramping up as we head into the summer. For those who may not want to be out there in the summertime, we have the option to do online gaming. So looking forward to those. And then also in the next fiscal year, we're looking to expand our basketball program, which is really popular, which can be a difficult thing for us to do since we don't actually have our own gym, but we are working with our local school districts to add an additional league, which will bring an additional 100 kids that we could serve. So we're looking at a basketball league of 200 youth this winter. So looking forward to that. And then we have our contract classes and community partners division. So contract classes, those are our dance classes, art classes, taekwondo. We've got a number of things, and if it weren't for our contract class instructors, we'd probably have no revenue. So it was amazing to see how quickly they were able to kind of switch gears, pivot from in-person to online classes, offering virtual programs to people who were looking to get different experiences outside of the virtual learning that was taking place at a time. So we're proud to say that even when things were closed down and our community centers were closed, we were able to still bring in over $35,000 in revenue from our contract class program. So if it weren't for that, we probably would have a zero there. But so we've had over 1,200 registered participants for both in-person, online, and for our contract class program. So really excited about that. And a lot of them are looking forward to coming back in the fall to in-person programming at our facilities. Again, continuing the combination of in-person, virtual, outdoor, indoor, just trying to give people as many opportunities as possible to participate in our programs. And then also our community partners. I know you guys might have seen Menifee Better Together that happened recently. We continue to grow strong connections with local organizations, agencies, nonprofits in order to continue to bring quality programs like that. So that was, we had well over 150 volunteers in a time where we weren't sure we could have any. So we're really excited to continue some of those strong partnerships and also working on things like facility use agreements, joint use agreements with other agencies, and continuing and expanding our events and partnerships. And then we also have our special events and facilities. So I know it sounds like a little weird combo, but our coordinator who does our special events also oversees our athletic fields and some of our facilities. We are looking for expanding our programming coming this summer. We really would like the opportunity to say that every week in the summertime, a family could find an activity to do at any single one of our parks or across the city at one of our special events. We get the feeling that people are just kind of really hoping to get out there and enjoy some of our facilities. So again, we're looking to program as much as we can. So that means we're bringing back our Movies in the Park program. We're bringing back Moonlight Market series in order to offer those special event experiences. We are taking kind of a bit of a conservative approach to some of these outdoor programs just because of the limitations. We're not exactly sure the June 15th date, if that's as set in stone as we all would like. So again, we're doing everything that we can within the state and county guidelines to ensure that we can reopen safely and responsibly. So again, the combination of in-person and drive-through, which we'll see with a number of our upcoming programs like Independence Day. And so we'll continue to move and move forward and add elements. I think that's one of the key points is that we'd rather kind of open slowly and add things where we can as opposed to saying we're going all out and having to pull back from our residents. We don't want to do that. So and then kind of moving into our facilities and our fields, even through COVID, we've acquired over $20,000 in revenues just from field rentals. So those are our youth sports programs that are out there, utilizing our fields, getting kids out there, following the guidelines, and still offering services to Menifee residents. So, and then the other thing I just kind of wanted to highlight is if you do drive around and you are looking at our parks, you can see they are very, very well used. I don't think I've ever seen as many picnic reservations in any one place at any one time as much as we have in the last month. So people are reserving picnic shelters during the week, on the weekends, in the evenings, 2 in a day, because our facilities are wonderful facilities and they want to get out there and utilize them. Now that they have the opportunity to actually reserve a shelter, our residents are taking advantage of that. So reservations have been accepted starting April 15th, and they are getting very well used. So it's good to see people out there enjoying the facilities. And then our newly added division for community services is our solid waste contract. So this, for us, what that means is that we're going to be looking at the opportunities that are already presented in our community events, our community partnerships to kind of go out there and educate the community and residents on some of the upcoming mandates, some of the things that are already available to people from our partner with waste management, things, how do I address illegal dumping, making sure that the residents know that they've got bulky item pickups for those who missed Menifee Better Together and didn't wanted to lug their stuff down to either Cabian Park or Heritage High School. They have the opportunity to schedule bulky item pickup from home using with waste management. And Menifee residents are in actually a better position than some of our other agencies because they get 4 in a year, whereas some agencies only get 1 or 2. So we've got some state mandates that are coming up that we want to make sure that our residents and our commercial businesses are aware of. Mandatory commercial recycling and then residential organics recycling. So those things are going to be integrated into some of the things that we're already doing. And in order to kind of help educate the public, get everybody ready for this as we move forward into the waste management contract. A couple other things coming up. We've got some community cleanups that we're going to continue to do. Menifee Better Together kind of takes care of some of that. And then also we're looking at shred events throughout the year. I believe we actually have one coming up in the month of May with the city clerk's office. I think we're looking at May 22nd for a shred event. So if you've got those old taxes that you want to get rid of, that would be the time to do it. Come on down. So we should be getting information out to the public about that shortly. And then, of course, we're through this education, we're talking about increased waste diversions, trying to find ways as an agency to be cleaner and more sustainable in how we do the programs and how we create programs in our facilities so that way we can be responsible agents of this earth. So, so that's part of our solid waste contract. Moving on, I'm going to pass it on over to Bryce.
All right. Good evening. It's good to see everyone again. So for the Parks Division, we'll start off with what we're going to be doing is purchasing a Nature to You trailer. So it's a trailer that the Rangers will pull behind them. They'll be able to have their interpretive classes and training, so they can go to a school and do that, a park and do that. They can get the homeschool kids that aren't in the classes, that if they show up at a park, they're able to go in the middle of the day and do their interpretive classes. So they'll have their native like animals and plants and things like that they'll have in the trailer. Right now, we haven't been to a school in over a year. The Rangers used to be able to go to the school and put on an assembly and do that. We haven't been able to do that. So getting this trailer will actually really help contain all that instead of just being in a box and going to a school. They can show up to a school in the trailer. The kids can walk through the trailer, learn, everything like that. So that's what the Nature of You trailer is. And we're going to create that pilot program in there. So we'll set dates up. People know we can go to, like I said, trails or parks. And then the trails connectivity. So we're going to be trying to purchase or look into even purchasing some land, maybe up against in the northeastern section of Menifee that's up against like the BLM land, so we can have some actual open space that Menifee can use into there. And then the educational kiosks and signage. So we can put that at the trails or even at the parks, just so like we kind of did just the play trails that we do. It's just an educational for people at, it gives them something other than just a playground or a trail amenity. They can learn about what's around in the area with the native plants, animals, things like that. Just like if we did a Paloma Trail, there's owls in different places, the birding hours throughout Menifee, things like that we can actually teach the community about. Then we have just 14 parks as of right now. We have 5 new parks that are just going to be coming in the next fiscal year that'll add another 25 acres, just over 25 acres to what the city will maintain. Those parks, as we've gone over before, Talavera Park, Underwood Park, Remington Park, the Evans Pump Track when that is completed, and then also the small little park that was going to be the final one in Audie Murphy. So we do have it. It's quite a bit of park space that we are going to be receiving and starting to maintain within the next year. Some of these we'll get within the next couple months. And then just go over what the community services for the parks, some of the new stuff that we'll be maintaining over this next year. So we have taken over the facilities, maintenance facilities on that. So that's the police police department headquarters. That's all the fire stations. You got the maintenance operations center for that Public Works is out of, the senior center campus, so all 3 of those buildings, and then the Lazy Creek Recreation. So any maintenance, janitorial, anything like that, that's now under us, so we control any of that, the pest control and that kind of stuff. And then we also have returned the right-of-way landscapes to community services. So there's over 50 plus special districts and LMDs that are throughout Menifee. A lot of them are small, some of them are large. So those are now under us again, where we maintain it's the CSA, the CFDs, and the LMDs. Just in the last 2 years, we've already taken over just over a million square feet more just to the right-of-ways. And then over the next probably 1 to 2 years, we may do that same amount with all the building that's going on, a lot of the CFD landscapes that's going in. That's what the city will maintain around the community. And then I'll move into the capital improvement program. So just a quick overview, as we've been going over the last year. These are the ones that we've completed just this year in 2021, so this fiscal year. As you guys were at the ribbon cutting recently, the Nova Park Playground, we completed this one. The park amenity enhancements, that's adding drinking fountains, and then to different parts of the different parks that were either missing, old concrete ones that we wanted to replace, some of them were 25, 30 years old, and then the new amenities to the skate park. We added all the LED lighting that we did at Nova Park, at Lyle Marsh Park, and now we've realized how much we actually like those, and we will probably be putting these in at some other parks this next fiscal year. The trails connectivity, so as Nova, you guys were there again, the trail that goes through there with the play trails and the new amenities there, plants and walkway lights that were on there, and also at Kai Thomas that we will have here in about a week. We'll have the ribbon cutting for that one that we completed this year as well. And the last one is the sports court resurfacing. So that was obviously in the Audie Murphy area. We redid all the tennis courts, all the basketball courts in there, and they are probably the most used I've ever seen. Is those tennis courts and basketball courts are used all day long and all night long. So it's really good. It's good to redo them because they're really using them. And then for this fiscal year that we're proposing is some more the sports court resurfacing. So there's ones, the Hidden Hills Park that we have, we're going to look at resurfacing just it was never actually surfaced, the basketball court. So we're not resurfacing, we're putting in the surface on the basketball court instead of just the cement that's there. It's real slippery and dangerous kind of when they're playing. And then also at John Denver Park, where the volleyball court is, we are going to remove the sand, pour some concrete, and actually turn it into a pickleball court is what we're looking, especially in that community. A lot of the seniors they're at playing pickleball all the time at La Ladera, and there's a good senior community that's around John Denver Park. So bringing that in, I feel like they'll really enjoy that at that park. Just new park amenity enhancements. So that's we're building at Lazy Creek, the new building and parking lot and things like that. So we're going to add some new benches and trash cans and stuff throughout the park. So it's not just that new building, the whole park will kind of get something new in there. And then at Central Park and Mayfield Park, those are just some little things like dog dispensers and things that weren't actually conditioned at the time when the parks, now all parks have those, but some of them, when they were going through those conditions, didn't have them, so we're putting them in now, so people can use that. Another one is at John Denver, the shade structure. We're going to try to put a playground, or over the playground, another shade structure, just like we are in a few of the other parks. And then the park lighting, since we light it, the LED we're planning on putting at the Evans pump track so that you can use that in the evening time, especially once it comes winter time and it gets dark so soon. We're going to put the LED lights around that so it's real visible there, and then adding some lights along the trail at Kai Thomas. We really realize now how good those solar actually work, so that's why we're looking into putting the solar there for the park lighting. And then the parking lot resurfacing is also just to add for Lazy Creek. Just once we're almost done with Lazy Creek and we're moving where everybody's distributing all their stuff, we're going to tear up that parking lot and put the new parking lot in, the slurry seal on that.
Okay. I'll take this one.
Okay.
So
All right, Bryce, I have a question for you.
Yes.
And sorry, I should have jumped on the mic earlier. The maintenance of those LMDs and stuff like that, who did that before we took it over?
So they were under community services. There was a time it transitioned into public works. There was an idea, since they were maintaining the sidewalks and the street, that maintain the entire thing. It was just a little overwhelming. They have enough to deal with streets and everything like that. So that's why the landscape's coming back to under community services.
All right, are we realizing any savings by doing it that way?
So he'll get into the next slide a little bit of this.
I don't
savings.
need the numbers, but
No, there will be a savings that it's coming back to us. We're able to cut a little bit of the
Contract
maintenance contract
Okay.
for irrigation repairs and stuff once it's back under us. So
you guys know what you're doing on that. Yeah.
John will go over that in this next slide a little bit.
yeah,
Thank
actually a very good transition question. So with moving the LMDs, and just I guess for the public watching at home, the landscape maintenance districts, where we use that funding for the landscape maintenance and all those items, we were using an additional contract from Adame to do some of the repair work that Bryce was talking about. But we have very capable staff on hand that have irrigation certifications. Bryce is a licensed arborist. So we feel we can do it a little more efficiently at a higher level and for a lower cost using our own staff. So what we're actually recommending as part of the budget, it doesn't really impact the general fund. It's funds we already have available through the LMDs or the community facility districts or any of those special districts, is to, for the part-time salaries, let me go into that one first. There is a minimum wage increase that I mentioned before, so that will increase the part-time salaries just naturally. We're actually looking at an alternative retirement system for the part-time staff, because part-time staff aren't in the public employee retirement system that the full-time are. They're actually in Social Security. So we're looking at an alternative retirement system for them, so they actually have better access to the retirement instead of it going into Social Security. I won't make any more comments about that. But they'll have better access to it. They'll have a little more control over whatever retirement contributions they make while working here. And then also there's potential savings for the city by them moving into that. So benefit for the employee, benefit for the city fiscally. And then also within our part-time ranks, we have a recreation or community services leader 1 and a 2. Then we also have like an instructor. So we're looking at creating just operationally using the funds we have available, creating a specialist that's kind of in between those levels to create some more career growth for the very good staff that we have. So jumping back into the maintenance side, we're actually looking at adding 2 more maintenance workers. That's going to be our proposal that we take forward to the city council for all those efficiency items that Bryce and I just mentioned for maintenance. So, questions on that?
Question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Going back, you said that you're taking over facilities in the right-of-ways, but you're going only with a 1% increase in budget. Who was paying for that before? Did that come out of Public Works? Where's the, I don't see how the money works.
Oh, absolutely. So just to clarify, that's a 1% increase to the general fund allocation of budget. So as you can see on this slide, a lot of the additional staffing are coming from those special district funds, from the landscape maintenance and the CSAs and CFDs.
So there was staff previous to community services taking this over.
There was when it was in Public Works, they were using contracts. So we're going to reduce and or eliminate those contracts and then hire staff
That's
instead.
okay.
Yes.
Now it makes more sense.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Jonathan,
Yes, sir.
does your department administer all of the special districts, and then you just contracted with Public Works? Is that how it worked?
We were administering all of the right-of-way landscape and the parks before, and then the right-of-way landscape moved over just to Public Works, and then we were just doing the parks. And just for efficiency's sake and because of the workload in Public Works to kind of balance the organization, we took all the right-of-way landscape back. And so anything that's green and grows, we'll take care of. Anything that's like hard and breaks, they'll take care of.
So who does the assessments for the city? Does that come out of finance?
Yeah, a combination of us working with finance, and then also we have a consultant that works with us as well.
Okay. And then you mentioned part-time folks do not have retirement, but on your slide it shows per 7.8%. I'm confused.
So a majority of the part-time staff are in Social Security. If they work for the city for a certain amount of hours, then we move them into the PERS retirement system. So we're trying to create equity by creating a retirement system for all the part-time staff, not just the ones that have been with us for a long time.
I'm still confused.
So
Are they currently receiving retirement or not?
So everyone, all part-time staff are qualified for Social Security. That's a mandate that we have to offer them some kind of retirement system. So that initial offer is Social Security. Once they work, I want to say it's like about 1,500 hours, 1,000 hours, they qualify for the public employee retirement system. So if they've been here maybe about a year or two and they hit that 1,000 hours, then they're eligible to move into the retirement system. So it creates a little bit of an inequity for our part-time staff. So we're trying to create an alternative system that we can offer to all of them, no matter how long they've been here.
I see. And is there a reason we're not seeing the other budgets, only the general fund budget? Because I imagine your department budget is much larger in this.
Yeah, we're still working through all the detail on the landscape maintenance and the CFDs and all of that stuff. So we're providing more of a higher level overview on some of the changes as far as, adding the 2 maintenance workers and cutting contract.
So when you say you want our thoughts or opinions, it's kind of difficult when we're only seeing one piece of the pie. At least for me.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how much is your total budget?
Total budget is about $4 million. Yeah.
So we're seeing 25% of your
Mm-hmm.
budget. Is that normal? Is that normally what, I'm just, being new, I have a
No, I understand.
question.
Yeah, typically what we present to the commission is the general fund, and the reason why we present the general fund, because that, as most folks know, that's the most flexible fund where it doesn't necessarily have to be spent on community services. It could be spent on public safety or something else. And so we present that portion, and the items that are spent out of the general fund are those items for the community, such as the programs and the special events. A lot of the maintenance districts, which we don't have displayed, have to be spent on maintenance. So that's kind of a less flexible budget. So that's why we bring the general fund portion to the commission to make sure that it's in alignment with our mission and the commission's mission.
So under, for example, under administration,
Sure.
you have an amount of 174,000. How would the commission know what that covers? Because it covers a portion, apparently. It wouldn't cover all of administration, correct?
Yes, that's correct. It would cover a portion of that.
So is there a way we could see the whole budget to see how it works together? Even though you may not want our opinion on the non-discretionary funds, it would help see the bigger picture.
We can provide that as a follow-up once we kind of have that all together. And then definitely we should have that closer to when we're ready to do the budget workshop for the city council. Since once we have that whole packet together, we'll share that definitely with the commission as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
On 8.1, excuse me, on 8.1 there, everything that you've reviewed and everything.
Yes,
Are you
sir.
gonna forward that now to the city council, or what are we gonna do with that? Vote on that, or are you gonna, it's approved to go to the city council, or you gonna present it to them, or what?
Yes, we're definitely seeking some feedback from the commission on the items that we're presenting today. If there's any recommendations or changes or any more information you'd like to see, then we'll incorporate that into what we present to the city council.
I think what's difficult for me is, I think one of our roles is to advocate for the department, but I don't know what to advocate for. You may have plenty of funding. I don't know by looking at 25% of your budget. So I don't know if there's room for improvement in terms of the city maybe contributing more through the general fund or not. Maybe you don't need it. So it's hard to know what to do. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Because I'm looking at your CIP, for example. I don't know if you have life cycle costs budgeted out over 20 years or 10 years. And where's that money coming from? Is it coming from the general fund, a combination of general fund or special district funds? That would be helpful if we had all of that information.
Yeah, we can provide a little more detail, but in general, to answer your question on CIP, typically we're spending just park funding for our items. So things for like Quimby fees or developer impact fees for parks or developer impact piece for trails. Those are the items we're recommending. So for this year's CIP, we only have a few items because we're carrying over a lot of the larger projects that we're already working on. Maybe we should have rolled that into this presentation, made that more clear for the commission, because we're continuing to work on the construction for Lazy Creek. That's going to keep going all the way till the end of the calendar year. We already have the Evans Park Pump Track. That's 6-acre park. So that's a very large project that came before the commission already and approved by the city council. So that will continue into the fall. So we have a lot of these larger projects, the sports lights at Centennial Park that we're installing. And then there's one other one. Oh, and then the amphitheater. And so those are 4 very large projects that are going to be crossing over into next fiscal year. So we should have made that more clear on our highlights of projects that we're going to continue. So I apologize about that. So that's why we have a little bit of a conservative budgeting and projects that we're proposing for next fiscal year, because we also have capacity staff-wise to execute those projects.
I think Commissioner Croy wants to speak.
In piggybacking off of what Scott asked, the request for the 2 maintenance workers, is that going to be enough? Are you going to need more shortly? Because, as we bring this new parks aboard, the new 4 or 5 parks that we're going to get sooner than later, is that going to be enough?
We believe it'll be enough initially. That's what we're planning on with the additional right-of-way landscape that we presented and the 5 parks that we presented. So as we continue to grow and implement the master plan and have more parks, we might be back here again next year, maybe asking for more staff.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. On the 8.2, are we through with 8.1 now as far as any recommendations?
I got one more slide, sir.
One more? Okay.
Can I go on? IT, a little help. Oh, there you go. Oh. And then
There
just
you go. Okay.
if I may, I'll just go over this really quickly. As we do our budget every year, we always set some goals and objectives, trying to align that with the higher mission and vision of the city and strategic initiatives presented by the city council. Back one, please. There you go. And so our goals and objectives for 21-22, definitely continue to look at expansion of recreational trails in the community and explore opportunities for nature parks and or accessible natural open space areas. As mentioned, continue with that Lazy Creek Recreation Center renovation. Bryce has an update for that a little bit later tonight. Get that done, get the kids back in there, and have it all programmed with the much larger space. New winter amphitheater shade structure and dedication. So continue to move forward on that project. I'm actually planning on bringing that back. We brought it to the city council in April. They had some questions regarding the design contract. We've been working with T.Y. Lin, our design contractor, to provide some clarifications on that. So we're hopeful to bring that back to city council during the May 19th meeting for an update, and then we'll see from there on moving it forward. And then create a comprehensive marketing and sponsorship program to assist with offsetting rising costs. We presented to the commission a few meetings ago the different options of looking at either a foundation or enhancing our revenue, that kind of thing. So that's one of our goals, is to not only look at the fees that we charge, but then are there opportunities to get sponsors, especially as the economy kind of gets a little bit better, if there's some private businesses that want to help out. We were very fortunate with Better Together a couple weeks ago. Brookfield came through and provided a very generous sponsorship to offset a lot of the costs. We were able to do that event with a lot of volunteers and a lot of sponsorship, and provide a lot of items for the volunteers that helped out on that day. And then Evans Park, not only continuing with the pump track project, but looking at a phasing plan, because we're building only the south portion, the south of Craig, those 6 acres. We still have the other 20 acres north of Craig, right next to Paloma High School. So looking at what's the plan for that. And we have an item later in the agenda as well to help with that, and ask a couple commissioners to help us with that process as well. And then create this was a city council request, number 6, create a recognition program for outstanding youth in the community. So specifically when we have youth that do great things in the community, we had a young lady that was on American Idol, made the top 10 recently, things like that. Or when, I don't know, girls volleyball wins the CIF championship, things like that. Create some kind of way to recognize them in a good way, whether it be, in our Independence Day parade when we return to that, bring them in front of city council. So we're trying to definitely encourage our youth that do outstanding things and provide some good recognition for them. So we're kind of formulating what that program is going to look like. And then, as Mariana mentioned earlier, develop and formalize these collaborative partnerships. We have some really good partnerships already with Santa Rosa Academy, Mount San Jacinto College, Parish Union, but we're doing them kind of like as we need them. So we're trying to kind of formalize those things. A lot of really good developments going on right now. MSJC is working on their new large football stadium. I was talking to Dr. Schultz the other day, and he's still saying, hey, we need to do community events there and have it utilized for more than just the football games and have it available for the community. It's a very nice amenity you have here. Same thing. Parish Union High School is building Liberty High School, and they're pitting pools at Paloma and Heritage. So there's definitely opportunity to do joint use there, maybe have some community swimming programs. So we're talking to the school district about utilizing that. So we're going to continue to build our facilities and our parks in the city, but then partner with all the great facilities that are already here in the city with the school district. So those are our main goals for next fiscal year and for us to tackle. And any feedback from the commission on those goals or any of the other budget items, we welcome that.
Question for you.
Oh.
Bryce, you mentioned acquiring land in the northeast of the city. Where would that money come from? And what size parcel are we talking about?
So there's just areas that we have located. We haven't actually contacted them. Money, it depends on if it would come from any kind of Quimby or general fund. It just, once we find out how much something would cost, that's where we'll figure out that then.
There's also a very, sorry, Bryce. There's also a very large development in the northeast area that Brookfield's working on. And there is potential for a large park there as well. And I think that was already identified in the master plan back in 2016. So that's one thing we're looking at.
So it's a feasibility right now. It's nothing concrete.
Yeah, nothing concrete. And I did mean to say northwest instead of northeast, but
Okay.
that was my...
I think I got you covered on the northeast,
Okay, but thank you.
All right, thank you.
Getting back to the goals, there's a couple of them on here that I had a question on. On number 3, the amphitheater,
Yes, sir.
is that just going to be on hold for a while, or are they trying to figure out how we can save money, or what's the reasoning behind that? Because the longer we wait on that, the more it's going to cost. I hope they know that. In other words, just since we started it, the cost has gone up. Now all of a sudden, they decide they're going to hold back on it, and if they start holding back, everything is going up. You see where all the prices are going, and we'll be so far out of line on that. I still wonder about that. The money we're spending on that. I brought that up in the beginning. So then the next question is on number 4. It says create a comprehensive marketing and sponsorship program. Does that have anything to do with trying to set up a foundation?
Yeah.
That's what that is?
I'll take number 3 first.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm
So-
just trying to incorporate them together and get the money. All right, go ahead.
Oh, no, I understand. As mentioned, the amphitheater project was presented to this commission a few times, and of course we had commissioners Croy Amarelli spending about a year of service on the ad hoc committee for that design. We brought it to City Council during the mid-year budget in March with our budget estimate of about $3.9 million to both design and construct and do all the other elements that we need for it. That budget amount is allocated. Then we returned to City Council in April with the design contract for T.Y. Lin. When we brought it forward to City Council, they had a few questions for T.Y. Lin on the design contract, specific things regarding like how much electrical engineering they're going to be doing, is it sufficient, a few things about the structure and the materials. So they had some very specific things regarding what T.Y. Lin's scope was. So we continued the item so to give T.Y. Lin some time to clarify those items. I think we have the clarification now, and we're going to bring back the design contract on May 19th for city council consideration. So that's where that is. So we had a slight delay because they had some questions for the design firm. So we're hoping to have that clear up and then bring it back to the council. On number 4, as mentioned, we provided the commission an update on looking at different community foundations, and what we found at this time is that a lot of the community foundations that are out there, with the City of Corona and a few others, aren't doing very well. So what the recommendation at the time was, community foundation's still on the table, but maybe let's wait on it, put it on hold for now, and explore some other avenues where we can get some additional revenue. As mentioned, we've had some success with getting sponsorships here and there, like through Brookfield for Menifee Better Together, but we think we would do better if we had a comprehensive sponsorship and marketing program where we can go out there, work with economic development on all these new businesses coming into town that want to get their name out there and get community involvement. Definitely a good nexus with all the community events that we're doing out there. So kind of we're doing it kind of here and there, and so we're like trying to make that a little more succinct and professionalized so we can go out and outreach and hopefully gain more funds for sponsorships.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your patience, Bill.
Number 6, the recognition program for outstanding youth. I think that's a great idea. And kids and scouts, the kids that volunteer at the different nonprofits throughout the city, I think it would be wonderful to recognize these children.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the other one coming down too. Just like we recognize the Business People of the Year, is that the same kind of a program we're going to set up for the kids on that youth program? Basically something similar to that?
Maybe even a little more.
A little more would be better.
Yeah. So definitely, we're going to bring back some ideas to the commission, get you guys weigh in on that. Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask you another question while I'm on that.
Yes, sir.
I'm jumping a little ahead now. Is that Make Life Better ad hoc committee, is that going to take that into consideration too? Is that going to be a separate committee for something else? We haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm just trying to figure out where it's all working in.
I think we could talk about that when we get to the item.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just trying to figure out where all this is going. I think we were on the right track. We thought we had all our meetings and we thought it was going good, and then all of a sudden, somebody decided it wasn't going so good, and we put it on the shelf there. So, I guess they know what they want. But I thought we had enough money. I thought the money was there to cover the theater, the amphitheater.
The amphitheater. Oh, okay.
Isn't the money there? I mean, am I mistaken or?
The funding was allocated at mid-year, but as mentioned, there's some questions on design contract. Hopefully, we clear that up and keep moving forward.
A question on 5 on the Evans Park, the phasing plan. At some point, are we going to get like a bubble drawing with, what we see for design elements? Because you mentioned that we've got several pools going in here, so maybe just, not to get into too many details, maybe we can, because there were a couple of designs where we had a swimming pool feature in that park. Maybe we can pull that out now because it's very, very expensive. Maybe we can pull that back now that we're going to have at Paloma, we're going to have a pool, and at Liberty, we're going to have one in Paloma.
Definitely, and what Mr. Croy is referring to is in the Parks Master Plan 2016, there were some very high-level conceptual drawings for Evans Park, and we could go there. There was, like you said, a pool design, there was a gym design, there was a community center design. So what we really want to do is kind of hone in on that high level, and as you said, bring different options out there, maybe even do like a community survey again, and for that specific site.
Yeah,
So.
I think as we had some comments previously, I think community service centers, we could probably use another 10 of them right now, and they'd fill up in a week.
Yeah.
So maybe, we go where the need goes.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
You're mentioning the pool. It brings me back to the master plan itself. When are we supposed to refresh that? I've forgotten. How many years?
Very good. So that is, I don't want to jump ahead too much, but that is also part of item 8.2.
Okay, fine. Very good. And one other question. Coming back to Commissioner Bangle's request for the budget, can you put that on an email to us with PDFs?
Absolutely.
Or the council gets together, so if there's anything to talk about at their meeting, it's available first.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so on 8.1, are we set on that one then? To make any recommendations or?
It's the commission's discretion. If you'd like to have any more comments or recommendations or changes to what we presented, we're open to hear that now, and we'd bring that forward to the council for the budget workshop.
Okay. All right. We have to vote on that or anything or not? You gonna vote on that or just, you're gonna do it? You're gonna take that?
Well, you guys would have to, I don't vote, you guys vote.
Okay. Do we wanna bring that up to,
I'd move to approve the recommendations with the further discussions that we had with fine tuning it a little bit.
do we have a second on that recommendation?
I'll second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Guess that goes to the city council too then, all right? Now, 8.2,
The long-awaited 8.2.
huh?
Sorry.
8.2 now is another ad hoc committee. Are we gonna take volunteers on that, or do we have to appoint somebody? It says here, we're gonna take two commissioners, but would it be better to have the commissioners volunteer for that?
If I may, Chair Amarelli, if we could provide maybe a brief overview of what the expectation is for the ad hoc committee. So we're really looking at two different things with the committee. We, as mentioned a few times here, they're part of the strategic initiatives for the city council for this upcoming fiscal year. There was a request to look at the parks, trails and master plan, and not do a whole overhaul. I think it's a fairly complete and comprehensive plan looking at potentially, as the city builds out, the potential for 50 park sites in the city. We're hovering around the low 30s right now, so we've done really well. So what our thoughts were to look at how much progress have we made from 2016 to now, over 5 years. How many parks have we built? How much of this plan have we implemented? And then look at the kind of canvas of Menifee, if you will, as it is now, with all these different things like the changes, like Parish Union building these pools. Do we, as Commissioner Corey brought up, do we still need a pool at the Evans Park site? So look at what our thoughts were in 2016, look at how much we've implemented so far, and then look at if any adjustments need to be made. Also, what we're looking for in this next upcoming year is kind of statewide. The California Park and Recreation Society has a Parks Make Life Better campaign in July, as you all know, is Parks Make Life Better month. So we're looking for this commission to also help us with that kind of campaign throughout the calendar year. Look at helping us promote and letting residents know about the city parks and what we're doing and how we're building them, and kind of help maybe reintroduce the community to community services and all the events, since we've been in a virtual format for a while, and we're coming back with some in-person programming. And then we're also looking at part of that campaign is, and kind of tie the two together, doing a community survey on the master plan. So it's kind of a part and parcel, helping to be like these positive ambassadors for the City Parks Department, but then also garnering community feedback on the master plan. So having two commissioners kind of take a deeper dive on that, working with the staff, and then of course bringing it back to the entire commission with what we find to get the whole commission's thoughts on the process.
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest we break this into two committees. Frankly, the one revisit the parks master, the open space and recreational master plan is adequate for one committee by itself. And really every committee should have one mission. I could see coming back later and promoting in the summertime, as you've mentioned, but I think that should be something separate,
To set that up as two commissions?
in my opinion.
Well, it's, okay, would that fit in with what everybody else is thinking on that, or you got a different approach on that?
Yeah, I concur. I think, not to step on your toes, but I think I was kind of getting excited when you talked about the Parks Make Life Better campaign, having been involved in that effort many years ago. There's a lot of room for improvement in the industry, and the city could really take a leadership role. And I could see that taking a lot of time. I can also see if you're going to revisit the master plan and really do a deep dive into the trails and the parks. That would be a pretty lengthy project. So I agree with Tom that it should be two separate committees.
And that is at the commission's discretion. If you wanted to create those two ad hoc committees, we could do that.
Well, that's your suggestion? You want to make that into a motion?
You also have to appoint some people too.
Wanting to work it. I could make it into a motion, but I think it should have some further discussion, at least from the remaining members of the commission. See, we know where Scott's at. What about Rick?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I agree for all those reasons stated.
I also agree that should be two committees.
Okay, so we don't really need to vote on it, as far as I know. We just need to agree that we should break this thing up.
Need to assign some people. I would point out on the Salt Creek Trail Maintenance Connectivity ad hoc, I think that had a 9-month duration. So Rick and I will be excused shortly. We're going to knock that out of the park real soon, and we're going to be free to help with other things. So we're not going to waste any time.
So that, so then you would, instead of making that just one commission, make, the parks make better ad hoc committee, divide that into two, and I guess you would just use the same title, or would you call it recreation and trails on one department, and the other one you'd call it, let's see, what can we use?
I would, if I may, Chair, I would say that one is one ad hoc committee focused on the master plan, and then the other ad hoc committee focused on the Parks Make Life Better campaign. And so that would be the two ad hoc committees.
The master plan on one,
Yep.
and what's the other one?
Parks Make Life Better campaign.
Parks. Okay. So now do we appoint, should we appoint somebody, or we want to take that up at the next meeting? You want to talk about it?
We can do it now. It's on.
Mr. Chair, I'd recommend you just see if you have any volunteers or interest from the
Yeah,
commission
yeah, I
if
think,
they want to sit on any of these ad hoc
I think
committees.
that's what I was gonna say, that you get somebody that would like to volunteer to start with, be better off.
I'd be interested in the master plan.
So would I.
I'd be interested in the Parks Make Life Better campaign.
Okay. We've got two commissioners then for the master plan, right? Tom and,
I'll throw in with Scott.
and
on
which,
the, I'll volunteer for the Make Life Better program. As you said, the Salt Creek maintenance stuff, we do have a meeting coming up. I was going to get that, but we have a meeting come up. I think we'll get some answers and some more information for the commission, and that'll be done.
Point of clarification, however, the recreation master plan would come back before the entire commission at some point, right?
Yeah.
They're just doing a deep dive, details. Okay,
Absolutely. Yes.
thank you.
okay, so then, then you have the two commissioners on the master plan, which will be Tom and, you came from. Bill, man, boy, I'll tell you, I'm getting bad. That's just what you call old age, I guess. And then Scott and Rick on the other commission, so there'll be two on each. That's good. I get to retire a little bit. Okay, that's all right. Do we want to put that in the form of a motion and vote on, or just accept it? All right, like, make it a separate motion, or all one motion? All right, we'll make one motion, and then we have two separate ad hoc committees, one the master plan, and the other the maintenance. Is that what you're going to call it, park and maintenance?
Parks Make Life Better.
Okay, so you'll have two of them. So we take that to a vote now. If we would like to see if that's all in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Guess not. It's okay. Ready to go. Okay. Getting into number 9, community services. The director's comments.
I just have two comments this evening. The city council members went with Congressman Ken Calvert a few months ago, and he mentioned to them that there was a possibility for some earmark congressional funding to be dispersed in his congressional district, including the city of Menifee. And then the city was notified a few weeks ago that that funding was available for certain projects that had a federal nexus. And so we brought forward to the city council during the April 19th city council meeting a recommendation to move forward some capital projects that we already had on the list. So we're looking at the Bradley Bridge over Salt Creek. I think a lot of the commissioners here know that when there's a lot of rainfall, we have some flooding there, and it makes it hard to pass Bradley Road, right where the Salt Creek is. And then also looking at Scott Road, Bundy Canyon widening. The city of Wildomar is already looking at the Bundy Canyon area and widening that out to 4 lanes from the 15. So then right when it hits Menifee and becomes Scott Road, we want to make sure that we're working with them so you don't have this bottleneck when you get to Menifee. So that's an item that we've been looking at as a city for a while. So we put those 2 projects forward as earmarks, and definitely Chair Morelli gave us some letters of support for that, and we got several letters of support from different community groups. So I just wanted to provide an update to the commission that the city is still moving forward on those, and Congressman Calvert's trying to move those forwards to get some funding for the city so we can actually get those projects underway.
Is there a cutoff date? Did he specify when these letters have to be in, or at what point the funding would be available?
All the letters are turned in, all of our project applications are turned in, and all that stuff is to him. And so now he's it's on his shoulders to kind of carry it up to hopefully get that funding for the city.
Okay.
Then also just one other item. I'm sorry, unless there was a question on that.
I just want to make an observation. Bundy Canyon, there is, if you guys are interested, there is a old environmental impact report where it does have, conceptual designs, and once that's done, it's going to be a great road.
Yeah.
Right now, it's still a horse trail.
Yeah.
There's a lot of accidents and fatalities, and you've heard my comments at City Council, and it needs it badly. So I'm hoping for the best on that.
Absolutely. And then one item that we're looking to do that we haven't done in a long time, especially with all these new parks coming on board, is hopefully scheduling, maybe in the fall, some tours with the commission. It's been a while since we've done that, but definitely want to schedule a special meeting. All of us get out there in some trucks and drive around and see all the new parks coming in, look at some different concepts that Bryce has mentioned on possible trails, things like that. So want to do kind of a working meeting and get out there and have some lunch, that kind of thing. So we're just wanted to give this is an item that the senior advisory committee requested, but definitely want to make sure the parks committee does it, commission does it first. Then we can offer it to the senior advisory committee. So.
On that subject, Tony and I were talking about going down to Temecula to see the pump track because we really have no idea what one looks like.
Oh yeah. Ours will be twice that size.
Have you seen it?
Still haven't seen one.
Have you seen your track?
Yeah, Bryce is actually taking his son there.
Okay, we're gonna take a run down there and see what it's
You gonna bring your
like.
bike?
I'll bring a bike for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I gotta wait a couple weeks before I can ride a bike right now.
You have an adult bike? Yeah. Okay. So I'm sorry. That's all my comments.
Okay. All right, that's 9.1. All right, Parks in Progress update, 9.2.
I'll hand over Mr. Howell.
Okay. This one will just be quick on this one. I just wanted to give you the map on here, just so you guys can see the parks that are up and coming, the 5 parks. So Talavera is going to be over off of McCall and Encanto, that's over there. So actually, there's going to be a total of 3 parks in the next fiscal year that are under construction right now. They're going to be on the east side of the freeway. We're moving over to, a lot of ours have always been built on the west side. West side's a little bit more built up now. We're starting to develop over there. So 1, 2, and 3, that's Talavera, Underwood, and Remington parks. So they're all actually really close to each other. And that's another 17 acres of parks that's right there. If you can see, number 2 is right next to about the hospital that's right there. And then, so that kind of gives you the perception of where it is. 3 is right on the opposite side of Menifee Road, the east side of Menifee Road, that's right across from Heritage Lake. Number 4 is just going to be the small little park that's on there. That's under construction in the Audie Murphy, the last Audie Murphy one. And then number 5 is just where the Evans pump track is. That's catty corners across from Paloma High School. So I didn't want to shorten it up a little bit on here just so you guys can see the ones that are actually under construction and design. That's not just going back and forth internally that for the next year before you guys can see it. So these are the ones that are actually moving and something's actually happening, and these are the locations of those. If you have any questions for the parks in progress,
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead, Tom.
Talavera, I always ask you.
Yeah.
Every time I look at it, it's finished, and they always seem to have one more little thing to do. I don't know what the deal is, and I just want to ask, when are we talking about getting this thing made a public park officially?
they-
Because I can go in there and use it right now.
yes, so they just completed their last permit for a wall that they ended up having to add on the east
back?
side of the back side of it that's up against the
Okay.
hill that's there.
Yes.
So they actually have completed that, and they've completed their R&R work, the repair and replace concrete. I was there the other day, and they have replaced all that. They just ordered their signs that are going on there. So I'm hoping to have in the next 10 to 14 days the 90-day walk there, so we could actually get into the 90-day maintenance there.
Okay, great.
So I've been in emails with them with the last little things that are there, other than that large wall that they've had to do. A few things they had to wait on was, it's not a bridge, but there was some parts that they had to wait on just because of COVID. I'm guessing that it was harder for them to get the actual product that they needed that was approved for the permit process. If they didn't go with that, they'd have to resubmit everything on that. So we just had to wait a few weeks for that.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
They'll be ready for ribbon cutting soon.
Yes.
Good.
It's a beautiful park. It's there. That's what's
Yeah,
the
as I said, I've been there.
it's frustrating for me. I go there too. Yeah, but we're
Yeah,
we're
the
we're almost
paseo is
there.
done, and
Yes.
open the thing.
Is that in your backyard, Tom?
I could walk to it.
Is that you walk there from your
Yeah.
house? That's what I figured. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Hall, I had a question regarding Centennial Park, the lighting, the ball field lighting. What's
Yes.
the status on that?
That'll be in my CIP, but that is going up here soon. So I'll give that update here in a few minutes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Okay, moving on, we go to 9.3, Recreation Division update.
All right. So we just want to give you guys an update on what's currently happening in the month of April. So again, as we mentioned, some of our programs are increasing. You'll see we actually have numbers under our contract classes for seniors now. So that first week of April, we offered our first class. We had 3 seniors actually feel comfortable to come into one of our programs. So we're happy to be able to offer that. That was actually our crafting class that took place at the senior center. Our regular stuff, our contract classes are continuing to move strong. Our fields are getting more uses. Picnic shelters, like I said, has been increased. So overall, we're going to see increases over the next month. I imagine the month of May, when we present in June, is going to look much better. So again, progressing with a lot of our programs, and additionally bringing in some additional revenue. Let's see. As I mentioned, welcome back seniors. Our Heart and Soul classes in Tai Chi, those are happening regularly. I think it's twice a week now at the senior center. Again, we talked about our virtual classes. We had 21 take place in the month of April with over 245 participants. Staff-led classes, which include our Tiny Tot program and our after-school program and our Nacho Average Sports program. So over 215 kids participated in that in the month of April. And then, of course, our outdoor youth sports and field usage participants. If you go out to any of our parks in the afternoons, you'll again see that they're very well used.
Very good.
We've got an update on our senior meal distribution program. Again, these are just the numbers that we give you every month. So the one-day meals, which are meals purchased by our local businesses during the month of April, we served 560 meals. The 3-day lunches, which are the meals that are available to all Menifee residents on Fridays to kind of help cover the weekend, we served over 1,121 meals. Our frozen 5-packs, which are specifically for our senior population that are provided by Family Service Association, we serve 743 meals. And then we've, even as we are looking to move out of COVID, we are still getting new applicants. So we had 12 new applicants for the month of April. The food box program, again, is continuing strong. We delivered 503 boxes were distributed in the month of April, and then to date, at the end of April, like I said, we're right under that 100,000, which after this week, we're probably well over.
Very good.
And that's my report for Recreation Division updates. If there's any questions, if not, I can continue. Yes.
Refresh my memory, where does the
The money for the food program. So the food program was initially funded through some CARES Act funding when we were looking to purchase the additional single day meals. It's both, feeding our Menifee residents as well as supporting our local businesses. And then FSA, Family Services Association, they were able to receive some additional funding. So we actually get those 5-day frozen meal packs as a part of our regular agreement with FSA. So we don't pay out of pocket for those. But we, again, the CARES Act, and I believe that as we move into reopening, we are going to look at some kind of winding down of the distribution program. And as we are able to get into congregate meal setting, we do foresee some combination of, pickup and distribution and in person. And we anticipate that some of that funding that may be necessary will come from the recent funding that just was approved for the American Rescue Plan.
FSA operating that?
Yes, FSA is currently operating it. So we're kind of at the mercy of FSA to determine when they're ready to come back to congregate meal programs.
If I may add a little bit, so Family Service Association, as stated, provides a majority of those meals. Family Service Association gets their funding from the County Office on Aging. County Office on Aging gets that funding from the State County Office on Aging, which also gets it from the Federal Office on Aging. So this program, I worked in 3 different counties. It's all funded the same way through that kind of funneling system. So it's not local funds. It's that kind of federal program down to the state, down to the county.
Right, I just want to identify who was in charge of it.
Yeah.
They also come to MCAC and ask for money.
Yes, and that helps supplement those additional meals because I know they were just awarded the $10,000 last night.
Money was for employees, but yeah, same idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Moving right along, then we'll move over to 9.5, the capital improvements program update.
I'm going to go over the 9.4, the special events update, before we move on.
Okay. All right, 9.4. Sorry about that.
No problem. So we were just going to give a brief recap on the events that took place during the month of April. So we had our Spring Fest, which was April 3rd. That was a drive-through event. It was completely sold out. We had well over 250. I think we were targeting 250. We ended up with over 300 vehicles that actually drove through the KC Center that day. It was a great opportunity for people to see the Easter Bunny and kind of get used to, get a familiar setting when it comes to some of our special events. So it was nice to be able to offer that. We also had our Ready, Set, Future Virtual Teen Summit, where we had virtually over 50 kids a day attended these virtual sessions about career readiness, college applications, financial aid, career planning, whether you're interested in military service or a career with law enforcement. So it was really interesting to see that our teenagers at our local high schools were really interested in participating in something as they move into looking at what their future might look like beyond the city of Menifee. So that was a great event. And then, of course, we had Menifee Better Together, which I'm sure you've all heard about. We had over 150 volunteers. We are still waiting to kind of get some additional information on the actual tonnage of waste that was collected on that day. So when we do get that information, we will share it. But it definitely was a day well spent. Heritage High School, those 5, I think I want to say 6 roll-off bins were completely full by 11:30 in the morning. So we started at 8 a.m. Capian Park saw over 100 cars drive through for dropping off the bulk items. And of course, we had volunteers picking up at the right-of-way, and then several homes that were being rehabilitated in the outdoor areas. So that was a really great event. And then, of course, the Nova Park ribbon cutting. So that's the month of April. And then upcoming events, we do have things happening in May that we want to make sure you're aware of. We do have the Memorial Day virtual 5K. It's kind of a fun run that's open to all city residents and non-residents, but registration is now open. So if you're interested, you want to get out there, we recommend that you go to the city website, cityofmenifee.us/register, and then you can register for our programs there. And then we also have the Memorial Day ceremony that is going to be coming back to in-person this year. Last year we did a virtual ceremony. This year we're going to be in person out at Wheatfield Park. It is going to be on Monday, May 31st, and it is free, but we are doing registration because the attendance is limited because of the current state and county guidelines. But registration is available and open to the public. But if you gentlemen are interested in attending, I will be sending out a Outlook appointment invite. So if you want to accept that, we'll make sure that you guys have a spot to attend. And then, of course, coming up, looking a little further out, we have Independence Day celebration. We are looking at, again, doing a drive-in style event at Mount San Jacinto. As I mentioned earlier, we're trying to be a little conservative. We want to make sure that we can offer a quality program without having to take anything away from residents. I know it's past that June 15th date, but we know for sure that regardless of where we might be at in the tiers, we can still do this event. So we're very comfortable in offering this event. There will be an additional element of food vendors that will be available for those that are in attendance. And this will also likely be a registration event that will be open to Menifee residents first before opening up to the general public. So that's my update for special events. Are there any questions? I'll be happy to answer.
And 9.5, capital improvement program updates.
Okay. All right, Bill, here's the good news for the sports field lighting. So the installation will actually begin May 17th. We got everything completely approved and stamped through engineering. So we've gotten all that back, and the poles are all manufactured, so everything's going to actually start getting dropped off, and they will start drilling on the 17th. We're already doing a little bit of minor work. They're making sure all the pull wire and little things like that are already there. As the commission, or if you don't know, all the conduits already run at the park. So we are just drilling. The little bit of trenching is going to be from the pull box to the pole. So it won't be a lot of trenching. And then there's a couple slabs of concrete that they will have to remove and then re-pour once we get those poles in. So that's going to be about 4 to 5 weeks. So we're looking at the end of June. So by July, we'll be able to have lit fields. Of course, that's the longest time with the sunlight, so we'll get the least use until winter time, but at least the poles will be ready for that use. Lazy Creek, as we go, I'll show in the next one, the foundation was poured on the new building, and the whole demo was completed in the remodel of the old building. And then the Spirit Park, or the shade structure, Spirit Park is completely shaded as of today. The poles were installed at Audie Murphy, and then the footings were poured at Silver Star, and the poles actually there get installed tomorrow on that one. So here's some quick pictures of just the Lazy Creek renovation. You can see all the steel that was laid out there, getting ready for the foundation to be poured. And then there we got a nice overview of the foundation of the building. As you can see, that's a pretty large space that's there compared to the old building that's there that was about 1,900 square feet. That roof that's on there makes it look a lot bigger. There's a lot of overhang on there. So that's just the foundation that's there of the new building. So we're excited. It is moving along. And then you can see the demo of the old building. I guess I should have had maybe a picture of what it looked like before. There's been walls knocked down. The new entrance is going to be there. That used to be an office. That's in that location that you can see there. But we have all the flooring removed, all the ceiling tile, the old tile's been removed, light fixtures, any kind of appliance that was in there. So it's gutted like that, and it just looks like a empty, sad building right now until we start getting the new the new material in there. And then these were just the pictures. It looks a lot different today than it did when these pictures were taken. That was them taking down, the contractor taking down the shade sails for the little shade sails that were on that kind of just barely cover the playground, so it doesn't actually cover any of the play area. And that picture that's on the right, it is sagging right there. It's not sagging. That was just them installing it before they tightened it up. So now those are nice and tight, and all 6 sails are covered over the playground. So at this afternoon, there was a lot of kids there using that. And they enjoyed it because it was in the shade instead of just in the heat.
Very good.
And that's all my updates for the capital improvement. If you guys have any questions for those.
Okay, and now going on to 9.6, the maintenance division report.
Okay, so just this last month in April, so we had 143 work orders submitted. 130 were completed out of that 143, so we're doing pretty well at completing those. And then the park rangers, and now just to get some of those work orders are, it has nothing to do with that. It's the facilities that are in there. 52 of those I know were the facilities. So you had about 89 that were just the parks and right-of-ways, the landscape that's in there. So we're staying pretty busy with a lot of work orders coming in, the guys finding things to generate work orders themselves when they're out at the field. We had 486 parks visits. which was a little down from last month. One of our rangers was on vacation, which is actually still, with him being on vacation, that's still a lot of park visits. And then we've had just 27 of the advised and complied, and they didn't write any citations this last month, which is good because most people, once they advise them, either from smoking or drinking or just being there at the wrong time, they're just complying and leaving, which is very helpful. And if you have any questions for any maintenance division.
I have one question.
Yes.
Where are the Rangers budgeted out of? What fund?
So general and some of the CFDs, some of the other funding that's in there. Especially
So within the general fund, what category?
in the general fund.
Based on the budget we saw earlier. There was administration. I don't remember all the categories. There was park maintenance, recreation, CSD admin, or part-time. Which category are the Rangers budgeted in?
They'll be under
Administration.
it'll be under administration for their pay, for the salary on that.
So the information on the budget report, that was the operating expenses. That does not include personnel allocations.
Ah. Thank you.
Are the Rangers still working with code enforcement?
Yes, they work along with code enforcement and PD, so they're all on the same. They actually communicate just like PD does with the dispatch and everything. So their radio communicates with them, so they're able to call code enforcement or PD for any kind of help.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay. On to item number 10, Commissioners' reports on committee activities. We have anything at all? Not, you don't have anything, do you?
We do.
You do?
I think we do. I thought we did. I don't want to steal your thunder. Well, you set it up. We have set up a meeting with the county. I don't remember the date. I think it's in the next 2 weeks, 17th of May. And they've already started to work on our questions. We had quite a few, and it looks to be very promising. I think we'll have something to report at the next meeting. Thank you.
Good enough. Okay. Item number 11, future agenda requests.
We have 2 updates on some of these future agenda items. I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Mitchell for the first one.
All right, so just another update. I think I've updated you guys on this progress for the last few months. The Riverside County Transportation Commission had a call for projects for Measure A specialized transportation, and we did put in a grant application after further review. Initially, we were going for a voucher program with RTA Dial-A-Ride is what we were asking for the funding for, to kind of give us a better idea of what the actual usage of this program might be. And being that Measure A already funds RTA and Dial-A-Ride specifically, they kind of saw that what we were trying to accomplish is really get a better idea of what the needs of our senior and disabled population is needing in the way of transportation in Menifee. So they reached out to us. We had a few conversations back and forth, and ultimately they decided it was a better fit for us to work together on a pilot program to conduct a needs assessment survey for Menifee residents, kind of taking into account some of the market level analysis of what's currently taking place, where our seniors are going, what are some of the local hotspots, areas that we'd like to get people moving to and from. So really taking an in-depth look at the needs, so we can appropriately identify what the best program would be for us, whether it's something that looks like a Dial-A-Ride or if it's something that's a single route trolley style program. It really would help to have the data to back up that decision for our senior transportation, whatever that program might look like. So in lieu of the funding for a voucher program, they are offering us $150,000 to go towards working with a consultant to conduct that market analysis. So that was recently taken to the Western Riverside County Projects Commission through RCTC, and that was approved, and now it's going before the RCTC Commission on May 12th for final approval. And if that is finally approved, we will be working together on setting up a timeline for this market analysis and needs assessment, including community surveys, things of that nature, starting in the next fiscal year. So that's really good news for us because again, we hear that there's a need, but our TA routes are kind of disappearing on us and we don't really know where the need is. So we really want to be intentional with whatever process or whatever program we decide that we want to implement for our seniors in the community. So looking forward to that. And I believe once that's approved, we'll bring it back and we'll also be bringing it back to you guys and to council to kind of take a closer look at what that program will look like for the needs assessment.
Thank you. I would, I'm probably stating the obvious, but, Gloria and the Senior Advisory Committee, please work with them because they'll be dialed into all of that.
Yes.
Much,
We were able to meet with the Senior Advisory Committee in at the end of April and kind of gave them a brief update on where we would be with this as well.
Thank you.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes, they're on board.
I have one question. That park enhancements there, Riverside County Library Partnership, does that include Menifee Library, or is that considered part of Riverside County, or that's Menifee Library?
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking, the property behind it there is we've talked about that before. Has the city gone after that yet? Do you know?
That is my update. So, as you know, the library is nearing end of construction. It's almost done, and our mayor and mayor pro tem went out there for a tour with Supervisor Hewitt. And as you know, that's right there across the street from Wheatfield Park at a corner of Menifee and La Pedra Road. So they've developed a little less than half the site for the library, so there's quite a bit of land left over. So the mayor and mayor pro tem approached Supervisor Hewitt about possible partnership of offering that land to the city to develop a community center. Supervisor Hewitt and the mayor provided this update at the last city council meeting just yesterday, so it's out there in the public as well. So Supervisor Hewitt mentioned to the mayor pro tem that he wanted to see a proposal from the city on what that would look like. So that's what we're going to be working on, just a concept of, what could a community center look like there, how big could it be, that kind of thing, just high level concept to present to the supervisor, and then hopefully kind of spark that partnership to get that going.
Could we have that by Monday?
Monday. The mayor told me I should have had it
I thought he was
yesterday.
going to give us a report tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's,
Sooner
Absolutely.
the better on that,
Oh,
obviously.
I definitely have heard that already a couple times this week. So, and actually, I don't have any additional updates on any of the other future agenda items.
that'd be a good, nice little park there right behind the library. It sure be nice. They could use it for outdoor, outdoor sessions, and the kids could use that, and they could read. I mean, and there's a lot of things they could do with it there. And I hate to see somebody else coming in and taking it before we get a chance at it. Okay. Signs. I guess that's it. Is there any other park directional signs, land, Riverside County? Salt Creek maintenance. Oh, that's what you're working on, right? Maintenance, but yeah. Okay. All right. And at this point, then, if there's nothing else, can we adjourn the meeting? Anybody have anything to go? We adjourn the meeting at 7:32.